Hi, welcome to Fit at 40. I'm Shane McLeod, and today we're going to be making some whole wheat protein bread. So stay tuned, we'll be back right after this. Hi, and welcome back. So today we're going to be making some whole wheat protein bread. At the end of the video, I will share a link with you where you can download a PDF with all the instructions and the recipe on it. So let's get started. So I used to buy a loaf of protein bread called P28. It was really good stuff, enjoyed it. They made bagels and they made the bread, sliced bread. But you know, it was around 12 bucks a loaf. A little high for bread, but you know, I wanted the extra protein when I was in a pinch and needed something to eat also. So out of need and necessity, I decided to research protein breads, and I found a really good bread machine recipe. It was a whole wheat protein bread recipe. I got a number of them actually, and I kind of experimented with them until I got what I thought was a very successful loaf of bread that yielded the maximum amount of protein and fiber and calories that I needed when I was in a pinch and in a rush. I needed something to eat. So let's get started. So of course, first we're going to use my bread machine here. My wife bought this for me. I believe she got it at Value Village, believe it or not, for about 10 bucks. And I've been using it for about 6 months now. Pretty simple to use and simple to operate. So let's get started with the recipe. Okay, so I got my instructions up here on the wall. And we're going to look at and see what it says. So we're going to start with 1.5 cups plus 2 tablespoons of water. Now, you want to be putting the ingredients in the order that is on the recipe or the order that the manufacturer of your bread machine suggests. I find they're all pretty similar, so I just put it in the order of standard bread machine. So we're going to start with the water. 1.5 cups plus 2 tablespoons of water. So we're going to put that directly into the bread machine pan. That's done. Then I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil. Now, like I said, I experiment with this a bit and I like to try different things. So today I'm using actually olive oil, extra virgin olive oil. So I'm going to put that in. Next, grab a little spatula here, make sure I get it all. Okay, there we go. Good, good, good. Then 4 tablespoons of salted butter. Now, I'm not sure why they asked for salted butter. Today I'm using actually coconut oil, 2 tablespoons of that, and 2 tablespoons of salted butter. I'm going to see how it works. In the recipe, it's just salted butter, so I'm going to see if this actually works. Oh, looks like I dropped some on the side there. Did I? Oh no, that's good. All right. Okay, onward and upward. 2 tablespoons of salt. I like to use Himalayan salt right here, pure Himalayan ancient sea salt. Stuff works great. I put it on a lot of my stuff for my sodium requirements. We try not to use any white table salt. I don't even think we have any in the house. So I'm going to add that in. All right, next we have 1/2 cup of whey protein. Now, I've tried regular whey protein, and today I'm actually going to use some casein, which I find is a little longer lasting. So I like it if I'm in a rush, you know, I'm heading off out somewhere and I need that protein and I want it to last a little while, especially maybe after a workout, a few hours after. So that's what I'm using today. It's a chocolate flavored. I'm going to see what happens. So we add that in there. And when you're adding your ingredients, you kind of want to mix them around, like spread them around. Just don't dump them all in one spot. All right, what do we have next? 1/3 of a cup of packed brown sugar. Okay, here we go. So I find the brown sugar really gives a bit of an energy boost per slice. You get some quick calories, digestible calories. Next we got 4¼ cups of whole wheat flour. So I got that here. Okay, so I'm using some actually locally grown wheat that a guy I know, his name's Jeff Burke, I think. Anyway, he has a farm, it's called Brule Creek Farm, and he grinds his own flour, and it's like maybe 45 minutes, an hour away from here. So we like to buy that local stuff. So here I have 3 cups of whole wheat flour, 1 cup of partly sifted flour, also from that I buy locally. And I like to put a bit of the partially sifted just to give it a little more fluffiness so it doesn't come out so dense. I also will have that on the recipe as an option. Okay, so I'm going to grab this, and I'm going to place this all around. Now the cool thing about these kind of recipes is you can kind of mix and match a bit. So today I actually put a little bit of, like, I substituted a 1/4 cup of whole wheat flour with a 1/4 cup of dark rye, and I want to see what happens with that. Okay, there we go there. Now what I like to also do is add some sort of nut, even maybe a raisin, or today I actually have pumpkin seeds and cranberries. And believe it or not, this stuff comes from, I don't know if you ever had them, but they're like a kale salad mix. My wife and I buy them all the time. It comes with poppy seed dressing. You get the cranberries and the pumpkin seeds. I love them. They're great. But we don't always use all the cranberries and pumpkin seeds. So today I'm going to use that and put it in. Oops. Okay. Actually, I should have put those in before the flour, but we'll see what happens, right? And I lost a cranberry there. It really makes me feel like a chef or a baker when I do this stuff, because it's so easy using the bread machine. Okay, so next is our low-fat dry skim milk. So this is just like powdered milk. You can substitute it with wet milk, and I've actually substituted it with more protein. I've used the CASEIN protein, and then instead of the 4 tablespoons of skim milk, dried skim milk, I've substituted that with 4 tablespoons of whey protein, and it came out really nice. But today I'm going to use the low-fat dried skim milk, and we'll see how that works. So that goes on top of the flour. Now, the final and most important ingredient to make all this magic happen is the yeast. Okay, so I have 2.5 tablespoons of FLEISHMANNS bread machine yeast. Now you could probably use like regular yeast, but I just find the bread machine yeast yields a nicer loaf. So what I like to do is I like to make a little indentation in the top of the flour, and then I'm going to add the yeast to it. And folks, that is it. Really, it's that simple. So now I'm going to close the lid. I am going to set my bread machine to, I should plug it in first. So I'm going to set this bread machine to the whole wheat setting, which is about 4 hours. So I believe it rises twice. Now what I like to do is, when it's mixing, I wait about a half hour, I lift it up and I see how it's mixing, because I sometimes experiment with different consistencies, and if it looks too dry or too wet to me, then I'll add a little bit of water if necessary, or a little extra flour if necessary, or sometimes I may even add some steel cut oats or something just to absorb a bit of the moisture if it's too wet, or if it's too dry, a little bit of oil, or sorry, a little bit of water. And that you'll have to gauge on your own. My first loaf, I must admit, when I made it, it came out really dense, and a little bit of it came out really dense, and part of it was a little doughy in the middle. So I learned from that experience, and now I have, I believe, come up with a really successful recipe. So I'm going to select the 7th setting, which is whole wheat. Press start, and presto, let's see what happens. So here we got a loaf of whole wheat protein bread that I made 2 days ago. And as you can see, it's already half gone. But it has really nice consistency.